It's the Bergs coming at you, folks, with an episode of This Day in History. This day in American history. We're talking about, what do we talk about here, folks? We're talking about January 26th. This day in American history, or world history. This day in history, on January 26th, 1979, 42 years ago, the Dukes of Hazzard premiered on CBS. The Dukes of Hazzard ran for 7 seasons, from 1979 to 1985. A great, wholesome show featuring Bo and Luke Duke, Uncle Jesse, Daisy Duke, Boss Hogg, Cooter, and a plethora of other characters, with the great Waylon Jennings as the narrator, and who wrote the theme song. Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. His own never saw get in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Making the way the only way they know how. That's just a little bit more than the law will allow. What a great show. This day in history, 42 years ago, the Dukes of Hazzard premiered in 1979. The Bergie boy was born on July 25th, 1973, even though I am from the planet Bergatron. So technically I'm 2 or 3 million years old, but my Earth birthday is July 25th, 1973. So that would have made me around 5.5 years old when the Dukes of Hazzard premiered on this day in history, 42 years ago. On this day in history, January 26th, 1955, Edward Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen was born somewhere in Amsterdam, Holland, outside of Amsterdam. The Van Halens lived there until Eddie was 7 years old and his older brother Alex was 9. The Van Halen's father was Dutch. The mother was from Indonesia. The father was a clarinet player, I believe, and they couldn't get any work anymore. They hopped on a boat, a ship, and they came to America, coming to America. It was like a 10-day trip or something like that. 7-day or 8-day trip. They came to America, folks, in 1962, settling in Pasadena, California, where the young Edward Van Halen excelled playing piano. In the late 1960s, I believe in 1967, when he was 12 years old, he got a drum set for Christmas. And his brother, Alex, 2 years older, 14, got an electric guitar. After a few months, they realized Alex was better at the drums and Eddie was better at the guitar. And the rest is history, folks. Van Halen, Edward Van Halen was a virtuoso, a guitar virtuoso, who went on to become arguably the greatest guitar player ever, especially the greatest hard rock guitar player, with innovations, with neck tapping and all sorts of stuff. Van Halen went on to sell more than 100 million records. Unfortunately, Eddie started smoking when he was 12 and drinking when he was 12, and the bad habits caught up to him. After a 20-year battle with cancer, which was on and off again, Eddie Van Halen passed away October 6th, I believe, 2020, at the age of 65. Rest in peace, Eddie Van Halen, who would have been 66 years old today. One of my childhood heroes and major influence. Definitely grew up listening to Van Halen. A lot of great videos on MTV. And last but not least, this day in history, January 26, 2020, the great basketball great Kobe Bryant, along with his 10-year-old or 11-year-old daughter, Gigi, maybe she was 12, I don't know, died along with 7 or 8 others in a terrible helicopter crash in Los Angeles, California. They took off on a very foggy morning. They shouldn't even have been flying. Crashed into a hillside going 185 miles an hour. Everyone died on impact. The great Kobe Bryant played 20 years in the NBA from 1996 to 2016. One of the greatest players of all time. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. So this is the first episode of This Day in History, featuring the Dukes of Hazzard premiere in 1979, Eddie Van Halen's birthday in 1955, and Kobe Bryant's death in 2020. 2020, if you remember, when Kobe Bryant passed away a year ago today, none of this whole corona was even going on yet, really. So everyone, a year ago today, we was just like business as usual. No one was wearing masks. About a month later, it all went to hell. And 2020 became the worst year ever. And it's still going on, folks. It's still going on. It's still going on. And the bottom line is this. We just have to hope and pray we can get a cure for this thing, or it goes away. But the bottom line is this. You got to live life day by day. You can't look into the future, and you can't live in the past. You got to come up to present time and live life day by day. That's all we can do. And with that being said, folks, Emperor 55, Bergie Boy, is out.